Levels.
Levels.
So this is another episode at a time, right?
Yes, it is.
So this could run at pretty much any time in the future?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a couple of weeks, a year or two, probably.
Well, that kind of makes it hard to write a cold open. I mean, we can't use anything that might not age well.
I mean,
We've
very
been known,
true.
we've been known to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, I mean, per the rules, right? We can't make a joke about anything that is likely or even unlikely to change between now and at any point in the future.
Eek. Um, okay, well, oh, hey, how about this?
Yep.
Here we go. Boy, I'm really sorry about how bad your Broncos played this weekend. How about that? That ought to be good for the next couple of years.
It's only funny because it's true. and two, I can play that game. Your Bears aren't looking very good either.
Okay, well, we can just replay this one over and over for the next couple of years. We should be fine. We should be just fine. Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, a released weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Friends, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm hoping that by the time people are listening to this, it's going pretty good. How are you?
You know what? You got to stay positive. You got to stay positive. Yes.
That's all I'm hoping. That's all I'm hoping. You're going on vacation.
Well,
So,
at this point, I'm probably on vacation.
right,
Yes. I mean, right
yes,
now, as
yeah,
we were, yes, now, but
yeah.
when's now? Then we just missed it. Now, just now. Anyway,
Just when
yes,
was
we did
the
that.
back in the yes?
Yeah, we did that before. So yes, recording it right now. I will be going on vacation when this airs. I will hopefully be on vacation. Probably depending again on when it airs, probably someplace in the UK. So yes, actually, when this gets released, it is possible that this is saving me from having. I will be on the exact same island and then off the coast in the North Atlantic that I had to sit in a car at midnight in 40-degree weather to record the podcast last time we were there. So
I remember that. Yes, you were surrounded by sheep.
no, so do I. Yeah, that was So this is better, I think. So anyway.
Well, we'll find out by the time we're
know.
done.
Yeah. Show's not done yet.
So what's our plan for this week then?
Okay, so we did one with we've done one out of time episode with an interview with Danny telling stories, but this one we're back to asking some questions. Just went through some icebreaker questions. We'll talk about those later. Those were mostly all terrible, so came up with some other questions. And per the time that we did this last time, started with name your best and your worst. But all the best stories aren't funny because they're the best. So we got rid of all the best questions and the difference between comedy and tragedy. Tragedy is when you fall down an open manhole cover. Comedy is when somebody else does. So this is our worst stories. We've come up with a couple, and we'll see where they go.
This podcast is the worst. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, see, we're leaning into it. This time, however,
okay,
I made a change. Last time, I knew all the questions ahead of time, and I surprised you with them. And there was some feedback, specifically from you. That was not ideal. So questions have been shared ahead of time.
At least 10 minutes ahead of time.
You got an inkling earlier today.
Sure, I did. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with Okay, so the first one I started with was, what is the worst job you've ever had? Now, I'm going to say it can be the actual job, like the entire job, or it can be a specific memorable moment of said job.
Um, I okay, so I've got two
Thanks,
that I
Eli.
think
We're not supposed to do that. Even in the future, I'm not supposed to do that. Sorry.
that I so
Feel free.
I'll let you weigh in and tell me which of these two things you think were the worst. Um, I was working at the Hardin County REC. This was a summer job
Okay.
between freshman.
That's the rural electric cooperative for
Yes.
people who aren't used to how power gets out to farms.
And I was summer help for the Hardin County REC. And we spent one summer, my second summer, we spent trimming trees along power lines, which wasn't a ton of fun, but it was better than the first summer, which, while interesting, because we we planted power utility poles and strung wire. It was
Okay.
very interesting. I learned a ton about how this whole process works. So what you do is you go along with the auger on the truck and you dig the hole, and then you come back through, and not only do you then lift the pole up and put it down in there, you've got to fill the hole back in with rock. Now, where do you get the rock? You get the rock from a dump truck that is then also driving along the road. How do you get the rock from the dump truck into the hole? By hand. Do you know who does that?
Summer help.
Summer
Summer
help.
help.
Some are helping more than others. None of the full timers were. It was the
Well, that
summer
looks
help.
heavy. Woo.
Oh, whew. Tyler Adams and I unloaded two full dump trucks of gravel by hand. Shovel by shovel. Yeah. Um,
The only thing that would have made that worse is like on the last day, like after you doing that all summer, the very last day, like in the afternoon of your last day, the guy pulls up with a pickup truck with a trailer attached with some sort of implement from Vermeer that basically the dump truck dumps onto a conveyor belt, and they can put the conveyor belt anywhere they want. And the one guy who's been there for 25 years uses the conveyor belt. And then you go, why didn't we use that all summer? And they said, we know what we pay you guys. This is worth a lot more than that. So it's much cheaper for us to watch you guys do it than use the really expensive piece of equipment. So we only use it when the summer help's done.
oh, that's that's probably not wrong. They had a ton of equipment. The thing that we would wait for is when the storms would roll through, then we would stop planting poles and we would go fix whatever the storm knocked down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you both wanted the storm, but then you also didn't want the storm at the same time because that was hard work and a little dangerous. I gotta be honest. Repairing high voltage electricity lines in the summer in the middle of a storm. Um, yep, it
I'm sure
was.
I'm sure you were thoroughly trained though on what not to touch.
At one point, I tell you, at one point there was a safety meeting.
Safety meeting, that sounds like a really good idea.
Right? Yeah. So they had their monthly safety meeting, and the summer help wasn't invited to the safety meeting. because they didn't want to pay us the hourly wage for us to sit in the safety meeting. And all of the crews said, oh, hell no, and protested so that the summer help also got the safety training. Because, I mean, in their defense, should we do anything, they're the ones that are going to be affected. So they raised Cain, seriously, and got us into those safety meetings, if for no other reason than to protect themselves, which I totally
Yeah,
get
yeah, no,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the question becomes, are the summer help, are they on cruise all by themselves? Oh, no, no, no. You guys will be working side by side with them. Okay. All right, listen, here's the thing. If they're just taking trucks out and going off and doing their own thing, I get that. Cool. Whatever. Right? Yep. But if you put one of them on my crew, yeah, yeah, I need them to know the difference between the live line and the not live line. So when I say, "Are we good?" the guy says, "I think so."
And means it. I think so is
Yeah.
not good enough. I think so
Yeah.
does not pass the test.
I don't know. He sent me this thumbs up emoji. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know that we had emojis. When I was doing this job, we didn't have cell phones. Seriously.
No, but no, there was just one emoji at that point. That's a
That was,
yeah.
yes,
That was
yep,
a clear emoji. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was
By the way,
absolutely,
that was a single Eli. Yeah. Yeah. You know what that meant. I mean,
yeah.
that was more of an
Oh,
analog emoji. Yeah.
how about you? What was your worst job? I'm going to go back and fix where I said I had two. So how about
Okay.
you?
Um,
what was your worst job?
that would have to be the what, 2 summers that I detasseled corn.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yep, yep,
Detasseling is just terrible. Like get up at like 4:30 or 5, like 4:30 in the morning, which, I love. I mean, that's,
yes.
that
That's
really works into my schedule. Um, get on a school bus, walk or ride my bike, or something to go where the bus picks us up. Get on a school bus at 5 a.m. Uh, drive for an hour out to a farm field. Start at 6 a.m. and be dressed, go into the field that is now completely covered with dew. So the entire thing is wet. So you have to wear rain protection, which rain protection doesn't breathe. So now you're going to sweat ridiculously because it's July. And even though it's 6 a.m., it's still 85 degrees. And start walking through, reaching up and pulling all the tassels off the corn. And when they talk about, oh yeah, this field's a mile long, like that's actually like, no, that's how the state's laid out. Mile grid. So walk a mile, turn around and come back, and then have some Gatorade, and then move, and then repeat. Until the sun gets high enough that it burns off all the dew and turns all of the corn leaves into ridiculously sharp flesh cutters, at which point you have to ditch the rain gear, but you still have to be covered from head to toe. You have to wear long sleeve shirts, jeans. You have to wear a bandana. You have to keep your face covered, your eyes covered, because it will cut you. And wherever is not exposed will then immediately get corn rash, which is a thing. And even stuff that is covered will also get corn rash. Have lunch about 10 o'clock by sitting in a ditch, eating out of whatever in your cooler, wrap it up by about 2 o'clock, take the 1 hour bus ride back, go home, crash, and do that for 2 to 3 straight weeks. Uh, that was terrible. That was just
uh-huh.
terrible.
I never detasseled. I never detasseled. I mowed lawns, um, among other things, among other summer jobs that I had. Um, I mowed lawns for for one of the realtors in town, who had me go
Mm.
mow the lawns for houses that were sitting empty, and they needed to have them mowed so they look good to try to sell them when The homeowners
Yes.
weren't there. So that was what I did. And I would hop on my bike. If you can envision this, I would hop on my bike, one hand on the handlebars and one hand back behind me, dragging my push mower along through the streets of Iowa Falls to get to whatever address I was supposed to go mow. So that was how I made money before I could drive, before we had Pizza Hut jobs or Met Theater jobs or anything else like that. So yeah, this was, the tasseling was what, 13, 14?
Yeah, because I must have been, because it was before everybody could get real jobs. Because if you could get real jobs, you wouldn't do this. So it was farm labor jobs. Yeah, I also remember whichever one of the 2 years I did it, that was the year that Citizens Bank got taken over by the feds. I don't know if you remember that, and it became Greenbelt Bank and Trust.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. So I remember Mr. Lindemann, middle school gym teacher, ran that he's the one that employed everybody.
We're
And
talking
he
about
got
people,
wind that
people.
the
It's
okay,
people.
yeah.
People. Listen, people. Did I do it justice?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
he got
Lindemann.
well. Yeah. He got wind that the bank was going. He got wind that the bank was going under and was going to be taken over by the feds, because literally as we were walking off the bus, he handed us paychecks and said, "You need to go to the bank and do this today. Cash this today. Cash this today. Make sure you go cash this today." FDIC took care of everything. I think we were fine. However, he wanted to let us know that if you want your money,
and
you
not have it be
probably got 2
delayed.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, that was yeah. I will throw out. So those are both like our pre jobby job things. I will say, as a professional, I'm gonna drop this one in here real quick. I worked for a software development company. Terrible company. I have all sorts of stories there. It's fine. Whatever. The one of the worst parts about that job was that we had a version of our software. Let's say it was version 5.1. And then they came out with a completely new version of the software. Not completely new, but it had new features and worked a different way. And then we all had a meeting, and they explained to us that that new version was version 5.1. And we said, but they're different. And they said, I know, but they're both version 5.1. And we said, could we call it version 5.1A? Or nope, no, it has to be named the same. And we said, yes, but they're not the same. So our documentation that says version 5.1, we had 2 different copies of version 5.1 software. And when we would get on airplanes and travel across the country to go install these, we would ask, which version are we installing for them? And they would say 5.1. And then we would say, which one of the 5.1s? And we weren't allowed to differentiate between them. And I thought that was nuts.
Is this the same company that gave you holiday gifts with the website URL wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The ones that give us coasters. Well, that's very nice. And then somebody realized that they had misspelled our own URL on it, so they had to give it as holiday gifts because we couldn't give them to the customers. Yes. Now.
Sorry. I figured that was the same company. Yeah.
Yeah. I have stories. That went on for about 6 months. And then one day there was an email that said the second version 5.1 is now version 5.2.
Okay.
And we went, what? Now, officially, I have no idea what happened there. Unofficially, what I was told may have happened, hypothetically. They're not a company anymore, so I don't think they can come after us. Dwayne's like, what do you mean us?
Yeah, I'm just here.
Listening.
For the record, I'm just sitting here.
Reportedly, I was told
Yes.
through sources that we were trying to land a very big newspaper chain, because this was newspaper software. We were trying to land a very, very big newspaper chain. They had a requirement for like 5 features that had to be in the software. They also, in their contract, had said that it has to be installed in at least 3 other locations. 3 other places have to be live on this software before they would then sign a contract. Well, those 5 fixes were not in our existing software that had an install base. So we had people on, let's say, 5.1. We had like 10 customers on 5.1. So we wrote a new piece of software with the 5 fixes they wanted. But if we called it 5.2, we had no customers on it. So therefore, we had no installs, which means they wouldn't sign a contract. But by naming it the exact same thing as an existing version, even though it had different features, we technically could say that that version was installed with all the new features that no one was using. And when eventually that large newspaper company figured out what we were doing and didn't sign our contract, then we said, well, guess we can call it 5.2. Anyway, that was difficult. There was a lot of conversations about, wait, okay, which version did you guys buy? 5.1. Do you know, I'm just going to make it, do you know if you guys bought autocorrect? Because I don't know at 5.1. That was 6 months of my life was. Yes.
It stuns me that this company is no longer in business. Shocked. This is my shocked face.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we've done pretty good on that one. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. I'm good here.
Okay. What is the worst class you've ever taken? Could be in high school, could be in college, could be for work, could be something that Amy said, this sounds like a good idea, and dragged you to. I wouldn't go with one of those unless you've talked about it with her already. But it could be any of those.
Did you have to do a class before you got married?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not. No.
That's not my example either. I was just curious. That just
just
apropos
curious.
of nothing.
It just popped into mind.
Yeah,
no,
I don't know why.
Out of nowhere.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah. No. I pretty much had to call up Reverend Bob and answer cash or check. And I think that was about it. Yeah. Anyway, interesting thing that has nothing to do with this question.
I think I would say
I will. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to go if you needed some time to think about this, but go ahead.
No, I think the worst class that I ever took was, remember how at one point back in the Wayback Machine, we talked about how Amy took Anatomy of Whales because she needed a 1-credit class to just finish out her science requirement?
Yes.
I had a, I don't even know what category this fell in, but I needed a semester of a foreign language.
Okay.
In college.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, well, I took 4 years of German.
Yeah.
Surely I should be able to knock out a semester of college German. I was wrong.
Ein semester.
Ein. Nine semester should have been my option.
Whoa, this is the deep end. Whoa,
yeah.
Wait.
Whoa. Oh, you expect us to actually speak in German, not just laugh about not speaking in German. Oh, really? Oh.
Das ist nicht gut. Das ist nicht gut.
No. Did you know even a little bit? Even ein bisschen? No, I did not. I knew at that point exactly the same amount that I know right now. I can, if I happen to be standing in the right spot, tell you that the library is right around the corner.
Very situational.
It is I have very situational German skills. Can you tell me how to get to the library? Someone might ask me. And I can motion them to follow me for 3 blocks until I can tell them it is gleich die Ecke.
You may even walk right past the library and they go, no, and then take them around the corner and then say, gleich die Ecke.
Gleich die Ecke. That's right. That's what I can tell them. and that's pretty much it. Tag, Uwe.
I was going to say, and you can only have conversations with people named Uwe or Thomas.
Right, yes. And I can ask them if they live far from here. Wohnst du weit? Yeah. Anywho, yes, so my worst class would have been the semester that I took of German in college. How about you?
I know I have a runner-up. Originally I was going to go with, I took an accounting class at Iowa State.
Oof.
Did I need one? No. This is when I went to college and I was new enough in college to say, you know what, I should try taking different things, right? You should take electives. And so I picked accounting.
Huh.
That was a stupid thing. Like, again, that's on me. That's on me. Like, understand, I am not saying that the class itself was without merit or the worst class at Iowa State. I am saying that I made a terrible, terrible decision. However, compounding that decision, it was an 8 a.m. class.
Oop.
And it was 90 minutes, Tuesday, Thursdays. So 8 a.m., 90 minutes. And I had a job. I worked at the public radio station on campus at Iowa State. I worked the overnight shift. So I worked from midnight to 7:30 in the morning. And then after staying up all night, I made a direct beeline to the business building to sit in a 300-person auditorium to listen to accounting principles for 90 minutes. I slept so much during that class. But that wasn't my worst class. My worst class, I went to Iowa State because even though I grew up hating the Cyclones and I had a Hawkeye-themed birthday party, I was all in on the Hawkeyes. Cyclones, Iowa State was the enemy. I went there for college because I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer.
Yes, you did.
And if you're going to go for aeronautical engineering, Iowa State is a pretty good place to go.
Yep.
Looked at other engineering schools across the country, ended up going to Iowa State. In order to be to get into the aeronautical engineering program at Iowa State, you have to go through some prerequisites, including the very first one, my very first semester, Calculus for Engineers 1. It is a washout class. They don't have as many spots in the engineering school as people who want to be engineers, so the classes need to make sure they get rid of people. Very similar to, now that I think about it, I've never thought about this, very similar to freshman basketball. There's a very few spots on the varsity team. There's a lot of spots in freshmen, and by the time you get to JV, they have a conversation of not all of you are good enough. Most of you shouldn't come back here tomorrow. You know who you are. Don't make us cut you. Which worked for me. That happened in this class. The guy that taught it was we took some calculus. There was some calculus included in our senior class with in high school, and I knew some calculus going in, so I felt pretty cocky. And immediately I didn't understand a single thing. And if you asked a question, the professor would simply repeat what he said slower and louder, the way that you do if somebody doesn't understand English. So you just slow down and speak loud. That's all he did. He never explained anything a different way. He would just, X is equal. Oh my, that was his teaching style. However, he knew that his classes were, his tests were pretty difficult. So luckily he gave extra credit. His extra credit on his test, however, his hobby was 18th and 19th century Russian history. So extra credit on the class had nothing to do with math. He gave you 18th and 19th Russian history extra credit questions on the quiz that you could get bonus points on if you didn't do well on the math portion. He also told us no one has ever answered one of his bonus questions correctly.
My guess is you had about as much chance of getting the bonus questions right as you had the regular questions.
Pretty much. Like, the entire test could have been in Russian and I wouldn't have done worse. Anyway, so after 6 weeks or 8 weeks of that, I realized I was no longer going to be an aeronautical engineer, and I learned how to drop a class at Iowa State. At that point now, I'm still in my first semester at a school I never wanted to go to, doing a program outside of a program that I no longer knew what to do. So in some ways, that was a really good class because it very quickly let me know what I was not going to be doing for the rest of my career. However, that happened fast. That happened real fast. Hey, welcome to college. And the reason why I said I knew some calculus in high school, when I left the class, I knew less. He confused me so much. Not only did I not learn anything from him, the stuff I knew, he literally pulled out of my brain. I knew less about calculus after taking the class than I did when I walked in.
That's wow.
Yeah. That would have been awesome. I will say, by the way, this wasn't just that class though. I was in a fraternity. Fraternity was mostly engineers, which is one of the reasons why I went to the fraternity. My roommate was a nuclear engineer. He was an electrical engineering major. That same semester, my first semester there, he came back from one of his finals, and I said, "How did the test go?" And he said it was so hard, it was so difficult that he, at the end of the test, went back to put his name on the test. And he had to think about what his name was.
Wow.
And then his comment was, "I'm only 50% sure I got it right." And I said, "The test?" And he said, "My name." And then he said, "It's 2:30. I'm going to the bar." So anyway, maybe the calculus one saved me. So anyway, there you go. Toddlers, if you have the worst job you've ever had to do or the worst class you've ever taken, if you want to try to top our stories, please, you can text us, you can email us, you can come on and you can tell your story. We will be more than happy to listen to those.
You know what? You could leave us a voicemail at 515 also CPA. We haven't done this in a really long time. You could leave us a voicemail.
Oh, we still have that.
I'm not even sure.
That's why you keep texting me every 3 months.
That's right. I'm not even sure that the number still works, but if it does, it's 515-257-6272. That's 515 also CPA. And if you want to know how we got that, you need to go back and listen to the episode about Al Slappa.
Danny's like, I got to go find some more. Now, I think we got a little bit of time for just a few lightning rounds before we wrap this up. What I will say is, okay, I went to get ready for this. I went to go look for icebreaker questions because I thought those would be good for us to talk about, and I've looked at a whole bunch of them. Yeah. What I'm going to say is, most of these lists of icebreaker questions are complete crap. I think they're terrible as icebreakers, and they're even worse for what we're trying to do. This one happens to be the #1 list in 2023, icebreaker questions for work. Here's what I'm going to say. By the way, nobody should use any of these because most of these will divulge your answers to your secret questions for all of your password recovery stuff. Hey, what was your first car? What was the street name you lived on? Those aren't icebreakers. They are getting information from you. So be careful about that. Here's the number. This is the...
As a meeting professional, I I
Yes.
can attest that these are absolutely awful. And I haven't even heard them, but I know they're going to be terrible. I hate icebreakers with a red hot passion.
Yes. So these are questions that I did not choose to ask ourselves, mostly because there's really no good stories here. Although I will throw a few out, and if you want to throw an answer out, feel free. But now this is the
Red.
number one list in 2023, according to teambuilding.com. Their fun icebreaker question. The number one question for fun icebreakers that is on the number one list of 2023. Do you fold your pizza?
Who doesn't fold their pizza?
And some people eat it with a knife and a fork.
Oh, thanks, Don. Oh, wait. Do I need to play the other theme?
Yeah, we'll pull out. It's fine.
Oh,
We'll just,
okay.
we'll just you know what? We'll just keep turning.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even need you to answer these. I'm going to read just a few of these.
Okay.
What fictional family would you most like to join? Would you rather be reincarnated as a cat or a dog?
Zombie.
If you could try any food, what would it be? What is your go-to karaoke anthem? You're making a big assumption there. Pick your favorite decade. Tell us why. Let's see.
The 30s. Really?
Yeah, that may tell a lot more about somebody. The 30s in Germany. Wait, what? No. This is done. This is done, and nobody talked to Uwe. Okay. This went from fun to uncomfortable real quick. This is what we want you to bring your whole self to work. Uwe, no, not you. No, go stand Gleichum die Ecke. Okay, just
answer to all your questions is money or Nazis.
Then they have a category here called funny icebreaker questions, and I want to tell them I don't think they know what the word funny means. Including, here's one of the funny icebreaker questions.
Okay.
Is Hugh Grant funny?
What?
Yes. Have you ever been to a funny comedy show?
That's a
as
funny
opposed to an
icebreaker.
unfunny one.
Yes. Well, I've been to both, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, then you get down the list. Now we're to the good ones. You know what? I could actually probably use some of these. Everything says what's your favorite or what's your best, and I should just change all of these.
To be what's your worst,
and
then we go.
Number 47 is what is your best class in school?
Ta-da!
See? Okay.
Yes.
I took it and I turned it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Dwayne, these will be helpful for you. These are the best icebreaker questions for meetings.
Okay.
Imagine you no longer have to work. How would you spend Tuesday? Imagine that you weren't trapped here. What would you be doing with your life if it weren't for me? I don't know that that's a good icebreaker question. I don't know
that that's helpful. Yes, I'm pretty sure that we shouldn't be doing that.
Uh-huh. Oh, hey, number 77. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Nailed it. There you go. Nailed it.
Yep. Let's see. Hey, number 83. We covered this one. Do you know how to speak more than one language?
No.
Barely know how to cover the one. Yes. Now those were the best icebreaker questions for meetings. There's also good icebreaker questions for work. Okay. This one is, would you rather live close to work or at work? What the hell? Have they watched Severance? Like what? This is no good.
I thought we were trying to get away from work from home. And yet.
Oh, we fixed it. Guess what? You can work from home 100% of the time. If you move here.
If you move here. Absolutely. Yes. It solves the problem. There you go.
Yes. Here's one. Obviously, an agricultural lobby has got into this one. Would you support National Avocado Day as a work holiday? Okay, I mean that's one way to go. I mean, there's probably some other holidays we should recognize first, but whatever. And this one. What is the best work holiday? Once again, you're stuck here at work. What's the best one where you get to leave? Yeah.
Does somebody need to be fed back behind you?
I have no idea what's going on. I don't think he likes the questions.
Oh, I'll believe that.
Yeah. And then let's see. Let's see. There's some good team questions. TEAM. Can a lone wolves be part of a team? Okay, that's not an icebreaker. That's like something. That's like a Harvard Business Review like study case that you have something. Yeah. And then let's see, community. Oh, and then they do have these. Just these are helpful. Inappropriate icebreakers.
Inappropriate. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the fun ones though. Like if you really want to get the meeting off to a start, here you go. Here's a couple of them. Hey, how much money do you make? This one. Oh, HR is going to love this one. Hey, who's your office crush? This one I'm sure is perfectly fine with HR. You ever seen a therapist? Hey, what's your mother's maiden name? Anyway, so that's on the list. Now they did point out it's the worst, but they are counting them as icebreakers. So anyway, I'm scouring these lists to find something interesting for us to talk about that's not that. However, I know that you've been carrying around a pack of cards with sort of like party questions on them.
So my darling wife buys these boxes of questions. This one is called Chat Pack Favorites. That's Chat Pack, not Rat Pack. And so you can just randomly pull out a question as conversation starters. It says on the box, fun questions about your favorite things, ideal for dinner parties, road trips, vacations, family gatherings, educational activities. I mean, we're an educational podcast. Sure, why not? Fun with friends. So then it gives you some suggestions. Feel free to reword or alter any question in the pack. Why have them if you can? Never mind.
Wait. So you wrote them, but you're telling me that I can rewrite them. So what did you do? Okay.
Try to avoid one-word answers. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so let's grab a couple of random ones here and see if Amy's chat pack is any better than what you came with. Favorite way to help people less fortunate than you?
Oh yeah, that's a barn burner to get. That's really to get the conversation flowing.
Really does, doesn't it?
Yep.
Favorite household task? Leaving it. Paying the house cleaner is my favorite household task. Favorite nickname of someone you personally know?
Nope. And by the way,
you got anything there, TP?
No, but I was just going to point out.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're gonna be. You're asking that, and pretty much in high school, like almost everybody on the basketball team, all the starters and everything, everybody had a nickname, but every nickname was their name shortened somehow, like the laziest form of nicknames. Everybody was just short. Jason Rusley became
Russ.
Russ. Todd Bickney's became Bick.
Chad
Not a
Whitaker
lot of
was
effort.
Chad Whitaker was Wit.
Yeah, I think people are now starting to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the complex pattern we were using to give people nicknames.
Well, except me.
Yes.
I was the Pearl.
Yes.
Because there was a basketball player for Syracuse. There was, when we were in high school, there was this basketball player for Syracuse that was Dwayne the Pearl Washington. So I was the Pearl. Again, they didn't, I mean, it was somebody else named Dwayne that had this nickname. They didn't actually make it up or anything. It was, whatever.
Is that where that came from? I always assumed that basically they said that this Pearl was so sort of nice and good looking that we have to make sure we just keep it over here away from where all the action's going on so it doesn't get scuffed up.
But it was Dave White and Dan Hensing that gave me that. That was Dave. It was
Dan,
Whitey.
well, there you go.
Whitey and what was Dan's nickname in high school?
I believe after he was named the 6'6" sophomore sensation in the yearbook, and he hated that everybody was scared to give him any other name.
He really did hate 6'6" sophomore sensation.
Okay, all right. What last card? Last one here.
That one's not any good. So okay, give me another last one. Nope, that one's not any good. Nope, that one's not any good. Nope, that one's not any good. I'm sensing a pattern here. Oh, hey, here we go. Favorite time to roll out of bed on a lazy weekend morning? Afternoon.
Monday.
You win. Good answer. Nice, very nice. Oh. Okay. Thanks, sweetheart, for the chat pack favorites. How about that? Anything else? What else were we gonna do something else here?
Oh yeah. This one's the bonus round.
Okay.
And this one's just for you, Dwayne. Worst mode of transportation in high school.
My bicycle. I don't know. Did you ever ride in the Dodge Omni? You remember that car?
I do not. No.
I learned to drive on a 1982 stick shift Dodge Omni.
There's a lot to unpack there.
That's, yow. And when it died blissfully, we got this very nice Chevy Cavalier, which was touted as America's favorite first car. Do you know why it was America's favorite first car?
Because no one bought a second one of them?
That's right, because no one ever bought a second one.
Once you've owned it, you'll never go back. To what? To a different car? No, to that one.
No, to that one. That was, yep. So we had that one that got driven around, but then we also had a conversion van. Do you remember the conversion van?
Why don't I remember that?
We had
no, I don't.
We had a van that had 4 seats and a bed in the back. And we drove. I mean, it was a couch that flattened out into a bed.
Yeah, that makes it better. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Because that's helpful, right? We took that van to Mount Rushmore. We drove. Anyway, mom and dad drove the van, and it was great to load everybody into, and off we went. We took that van. I drove the van full of a whole bunch of us to Oskaloosa, maybe, to see Sonia compete in the Miss Iowa pageant. And we were full. The van was packed to the gills with all. Did you go on that trip? I don't remember.
Does not ring a bell.
That doesn't ring a bell. Okay. We were
This is
full.
where Dwayne goes, oh yeah, we didn't invite you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, never mind. I mean,
no. Yeah. You must have been busy detasseling that weekend or something. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I drove the van occasionally, not often. I drove the Cavalier more than anything else, but I learned to drive on a piece of shit Dodge Omni. What was you? I mean, you drove the Vet. Didn't you drive a Vet? Chris drove a
No,
Vet.
no. Yeah,
A
Chris
Chevette.
had the
Chris had the
Chevette.
Chevette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the
Oh
he had
yeah.
the red vet.
I got to get in the
Yeah.
Vet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chevette.
No, well, no. So while you were riding the bike, I had that sweet Honda Spree for 2 years.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So that was limited, unlike all of the Honda or all of the Yamahas. Mine was limited to 25 miles an hour per state law. So I would always fall behind, sometimes even falling behind you on your bike, because it couldn't keep up. However, the way that they had it all hooked up was going downhill. The governor didn't kick in. So when we all went, I wasn't allowed to ride on the highway, which was really smart. So when we went the back way to the mall or Pizza Hut or whatever, we went down the hill. Then I could get up to 40-45 miles an hour on that thing, and then let everybody whiz right past me. So that was there's 2,000 miles put on that thing. Yeah, and then I moved into then my first car was that black car.
Oh yeah. Did you know that my e-bike will do 20 and your Spree topped out at 25?
By law. To be fair, by law.
What was the black car? What model was that?
It was a Pontiac Sunbird, 1980.
Oh yeah.
Yes. With what multiple people referred to was the high windows and the really low seats, so it looked like you could only see like from my nose up from the side because I was sitting so low in the car, which was really a good look for a high school guy. And it was rear wheel drive, and the tunnel that went to the back seats were put on either side of the tunnel. The tunnel was so high that there was carpet between the seats where the tunnel was going on because you had to sort of sit at an angle. Yes, that was when I got my freedom away from the Spree.
This was the ugly step cousin to the Firebird. This wasn't a Firebird. This is a Sunbird.
Oh no. Yeah. And if it was an ugly cousin, it was like ugly cousin third removed or something. Like nobody looked at that and went, "Boy, I can see where that came from." Like, is that a Firebird? Oh no, it's a Sun. Like it was like, what is that? Like, but it worked. I mean, it's first cars. You take what you can get.
Who drove an RX-7? Somebody had a sweet ride. I remember somebody having an RX-7.
Well, clearly, on episode 3 of Out of Time, that nobody that we didn't go to high school with is going to listen to at this point. We will have to answer that question and more about growing up in Iowa Falls in the late 80s.
Even on hiatus week, the music is still Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast with visiting scholar Todd Prinz and assistant visiting scholar. Got to get the title right. Assistant visiting scholar Dwayne Johnson. Wherever you get your pods, just search Talking and the number 2. No G, no space. You can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home. No, wait. We're going to be on hiatus, so the office is probably not staffed. Kevin, are you staffing that? No. Okay, so don't do that. Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors, Toddler 3187, the Taylor Center for Technology Policy, and DJ to Go Cedar Valley. And you can send your feedback. If you have feedback on this episode or any other, send it to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
I swear, when you said that you spent a summer planting power poles, the first thing that popped into my mind was like you had ones that are like 2 or 3 feet high, and you dug a little hole and you put them in, and then you watered them, and then the guy, like the full-time guy, goes, "In 10 years, these things are going to grow up and hold those wires up above. Got to see how the crop's coming in." I guess that's about how that works.
They're self-replicating, right? They grow their own. Yes, that's how that works.
Although technically, to get them to be the poles, they had to be grown to be the poles. So they've anyway. Yeah, that. Seriously, that's what came to my mind. Is you just walk around with a bunch of like little power pole saplings and a little water bucket, and just like, well, here we go. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, at some point,
although it would have been a lot easier. You would have needed a lot less gravel.
Oh, that's absolutely fair. We'll clean the gravel up and anything else at some point. We'll be back next week, hopefully with a live episode. We're here. We're talking to Todd. Favorite Olympic event to watch? Favorite thing to cook, bake when company is coming over? Favorite restaurant to eat at for a special... These are terrible.
On the other hand, favorite Olympic... I get to be that guy, though. Favorite Olympic event to watch? On TV or in person? Yeah. Shut up, Todd. Shut up. Yeah. Why did we invite him? This is why we didn't take you in the van.